Okay guys, so today I'm going to do a short video to show you guys how to actually create sheets and show you guys how we're going to set our sheets up as we begin to matriculate into the section of the course where we're going to start setting sheets up and setting our drawings up on sheets and incorporating sheet sizes and title blocks and things of that nature. Okay, so first things first, when we draw these files, okay, we draw them in model space. You see these tabs at the bottom? You have model space and you have layout. Okay, we draw everything in model space. Okay, all of your text, all of your dimensions, all your annotation tags and things of that nature, we are going to do them in model space. However, some of those things can be done in paper space, but essentially that's only done under specific requirements. So we'll just teach the course, how it should be taught. And should you get an opportunity to go work for someone and they do things differently there, at least you'll understand, why they're doing things differently there, and that's just the way that they like to do it. Because I've been around the block and I've seen these drawing sets put together so many different ways. Um, I've seen it to where we actually have dimensions actually being done in the sheet file, which is this file. But I typically like to do everything in the drawing file. It's just cleaner. You don't have to worry about the scales. When you start doing things in the sheet file, the scale is just, it's a humongous scale. You have to go ahead and scale things down to make things look right. And then in some cases, it's the better thing to do things in the sheet file. But for the purposes of this course and the purpose of, excuse me, I'll say it right in a moment. And for the purposes of you guys learning, okay, we'll do everything in model space. And the only thing we're going to do in sheet space is set our drawings up on the sheet, okay? So first things first, again, we'll go back to the model space tab. And what I like to do is I like to go ahead and name these tabs, okay? When you get ready to set your sheets up, the first thing you're going to do is this layout tab is going to be there already. So what you want to do is you want to select it or just right click on it and click rename. And then you can label this one as first floor plan. And I like to do things in all caps because it's just easier to see. Okay, so first floor plan. You don't have to spell out the whole thing, okay? And when you're ready to create another one, you just create, well, actually, let's go ahead and get that sheet set up first. So click on your first floor plan and right click on that tab, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to go to page setup manager here. And this is where you're going to tell it what page size you want. So you want to click modify here, okay? And then you want to, scroll down. This is what you're going to use to tell it the page size, and this is what you're going to use to tell it how you want things to plot. So right now we want to go ahead and set this up on Dftg to piece DFPC3, okay? And now you want to come over here to the properties menu. You want to click properties. And let's go ahead and select the page size. Typically, I like to use 22 by 34. There are 11 by 17 sets, and there are 34 by 26, or 34 by 44, or 22 by 34, or 42 by 36. I like to use 34 by 22, okay? And the reason I say that is because you can take a 34 by 22 set and print a half size set and it will not lose its scale, okay? If you go to another full size sets, let's just say, let's scroll down, 36 by 48 inch, which is Arc E, okay? You cannot print an 11 by 17 size set from that and actually keep the scale. You will lose the scale when you actually take the physical scale and apply it to the sheet. You will lose the scale. So when you go to 22 by 34, that's a full size set. It's not as big as the other, but it's a pretty nice size set. And you can also print 11 by 17 size sets without losing the scale. Okay, so go to 2234. All right, this is what you want right here. Then click OK. And click OK. Okay, 2234. I'm sorry, 34 by 22. Go back and let's find the 34 by 22. It's ANSID. Then you want to click OK. And click OK. All right. So DWG to PDF PC3 is your printer plot settings. In your properties, you want to set this to 34 by 22. That way, when we go to print a half size set or 11 by 17 size set, you do not lose your scale. Okay, so you want to click OK. You get out of that, then click close. And as you can see, your sheet size has just changed tremendously. Okay, so now we'll bring the title blocks in later. This is a viewport. Let's go ahead and delete this viewport. Now, viewport is actually access to the views that you have drawn in your model space. Okay, so what you can do is you come here and just type in viewport, and you can have two vertical viewports. You can have horizontal, three. You know, it just depends on which one you want. But typically, in the architectural setting, you just want one single view. Okay, and you click OK. Now you tell it the extent of that view, which is going to be here. And as you can see, as soon as you click it, now you have insight into what's being or what has been drawn into model space. So the way you access that is you come in, you double click in here, and then you zoom in, okay, and you'll see everything that we've drawn is showing up right here, okay. So typically for the floor plan, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and set up our first floor plan right there and double click off, all right. And keep in mind that is on a non-print layer, so it will not show. We will bring in first floor plan tags for you guys to actually set it up on the sheet. Now, what we need to do is need to make sure that our viewport, which is this square block here, is set up on a non-print layer. So you're going to take this and set it up onto layer 0. Okay, that way when you actually print the sheet, you don't have this square showing up in your PDF documents. Okay, next thing you want to do is you want to set the scale of the floor plan, which is typically going to be at 1/4 of an inch. So what you would do is you would double click here, and then you would come here to the bottom where you have the scale menu, and you would set it to 1/4 of an inch, and you'll see your floor plan move. And then what you want to do now is double click outside of the viewport to deactivate it. Okay. And now what you want to do is you kind of want to come and crop the viewport. You want to only have your floor plan shown, okay? So you come here, you come here, and you come here, right? And then you can take it and you can move it over. I like to move it over here because what we're going to do is we're going to have a set of general notes that's going to be placed here. And I'll get that out to you guys maybe in this video. If not, we'll roll it out to you guys next class period, okay, on Friday. So this is how you set your sheet up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the title block, okay? But first things first, we have to have the title block created, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. But, you know, I want to make sure that we understand how to create these viewports. And there's several things you can do. Say if you have a drawing that you want to accent on this sheet, you want to put another drawing on this sheet that's, you know, at a larger view. So you wanted to add a blow-up view of the kitchen. So what you could do is you can take this viewport and copy it, right? Drag it over. Now you can take this guy and just crop it around your kitchen. And we won't incorporate into the drawing like this, but I just want to show you guys how you can do these things, right? And now you can take this and place it on the sheet, right? So, you know, there'll be cases where we will do stuff like that when we actually start setting up our sheets for our building sections and our wall sections and our section details and our stair sections. Okay, we'll set it up on sheets that way. Typically, you know, there's 100 ways to do one thing in AutoCAD. We could have set this sheet up with multiple viewports as we just saw, but we use only one viewport. And you can copy viewports around. And let's undo. I want to show you guys something. Say if you wanted to show something else here, you can double click in here and then zoom out and then go somewhere else and put something else in that viewport. Or actually you can double click in here and then change the scale back to 1/4 of an inch, okay? Whatever you want to show, whatever you want to highlight or accent here, you can actually do it that way, okay? Now, there is an issue here that I want to address with this viewport because what happens is it's set to a 1/4 inch scale. When you click on the viewport, a 1/4 inch scale will pop up here at the bottom. That lets you know that this viewport is actually set to a 1/4 inch. What you can do is you can lock the viewport just in case if you want to make a change, because you can make a change to your drawing from the viewport. But if you come in and you click in it and you activate the viewport and you use the mouse to scroll in and out, now you've just changed the scale of your viewport. So now if you click on it, it's on this funny looking scale. You always have to go back and change it to the proper scale. But the way to get around that is if you select a viewport and you right click, you can come over here to the display locked feature and type in yes or select yes. And now when you click in it, the viewport is active. You can zoom in and out. It's not going to move. It's not going to lose its scale. And sometimes, actually all the times, I'm going to ask that you guys would actually, update your viewport to uh, lock status, because sometimes we'll come in here while we have the viewport active, and say if we wanted to change something like a room name, we could say, okay, you can call this the garage, even though we know it's not the garage. You can make those changes directly from, when you click out your deactivated viewport, you can make those changes directly from the sheet file, but you made the change in the drawing file. Now, if you go back to your model space and you go back to that floor plan, as you can see, it's changed to garage, okay? So whenever you're making changes, or whenever you're making updates from the sheet file within the viewport, you want to make sure you have that viewport locked, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to wind up losing your scale. And fear not, if that happens, you can just go back and reset the scale. But again, in this industry, time is money, so we don't want to, do things inefficiently. We want to be as efficient as possible. So make sure you're locking the viewport while you're actually conducting the drawings. And when we start setting sheets up, I'll have exercises where we will actually go in and make changes in the viewport from the sheet file. Okay, that's the beauty about AutoCAD. It's the same way in Rivet as well. But a lot of people don't understand how this function or this feature works, which is why I'm excited to have the capacity and the ability to show you guys that, hey, you can make all these changes from the sheet file, but within the viewport. Okay, this is especially why I like doing everything in model space as stated, because why draw things in the sheet file? Let me show you something. If you go here and you type in dimension, look at this. You can add a dimension, but look at it. The scale is humongous, okay? So now you have to go in and either create a different scale just for the sheet file, or you have to scale it down. So it's best to do everything from model space, and then if you have to update something, you can update it from the sheet file, and you can activate drawings in model space. Again, let me demonstrate that for you guys once more. So if you double click in, you activate the viewport. So now you're in model space, but from the sheet file. And you can come in and you can, make changes. You can delete that, okay? And if you double click out of it to deactivate the viewport and you go back to your model space, now you see that change has been made in your model space, all right? So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. And let's undo to get it back like it should be. There you go, okay? Now, next thing we're going to do is we are going to bring in our title block. And remember the X reference feature where we actually X reference drawings in, and I think it was in, let's see, I'm going to go and open that file up. It was in the sections file where we actually X reference drawings in. Well, this is how you're going to bring in your title block into the sheet file. You're going to X reference it in, right? So let's go here. So this is an X reference. So what do? Remember, we typed in XREF, XREF. And this will open up the X reference palette, okay, which is this guy here. And you can actually expand it out so you can actually see what your X references are and how they are X referenced. Again, that's why I like to add a little bit of transparency, because you can see it and you can actually see your drawing up underneath it, okay? So, yeah, right now we have X referenced in are these drawings right here. We have attached Dftg Model A, and we also have attached sections. Okay, these are all our attached files. It's going to say attached, and this is going to say current because this is the file that you're in. You also have a JPEG. So what we need to do is let's go back to this drawing, and actually you can hit Control and Tab to toggle through the drawings. Just Control Tab. Now we're back to the sheet file, and let's go ahead and move this. Just if you click in the sheet file, sometimes you have to move it out of the way. In most cases, it'll just do something like this. I don't like to dock mine because when you dock it, it gets in the way. When you have two monitors or split screens, that's when that actually works properly. Okay, so we have a sheet file that's 22 by 34. So what we need to do is we need to bring our title block in, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, guys, sound check. Okay, good. All right, so first things first. What I want you guys to do is to open up a new file, all right? And what I did was, this was the title block, and I'm gonna undo to kind of show you guys what I did. What I did was I took the title block that HCC gives us, and you guys have that. If you don't have that, email me and I will let you know. I will send it to you in the email so you can have that, okay? So, but what we're going to do is we're going to use this title block. We're going to export our title block into our Model A drawing, okay? Into this first floor plan, all right? So, yeah, I kind of did it a little bit backwards here. Let's go back here and let's go and hit Control C to copy that. And let's go to your Model A drawing. Okay, you're going to create a new title block drawing. So paste it in here, okay, and then do a save as. Let's go ahead and close this guy out. So this is your model. This is your drawing where we drew the original floor plans. Let's go ahead and do a save as after you paste it in. So go to Control and hit Save As. And then you want to actually call this title block. I already created mine, but you'll have to rename yours. And just write, create a file called title block and save it. Okay. So now you have your title block file, and let's go ahead and open up that Model A drawing where we actually went in and we created. Which one was it? Jeez, I may have done away with it. I did. Let's see. Which one was it? Let me find the right one, guys. This file open. Dftg tags. Model A. Yeah, I think I actually. Yeah, I'll have to go back and reset the sheet up like we just did, but no problem. Okay, so you have the title block drawing here. Go ahead and open up the Model A drawing. And for me, it's Model A. For you guys, it's whatever you called it, okay? So you can open this guy up. And this is the file that we are actually going to create. And this is the one that I used to actually start off the interior elevations. Before I did a save as. Let's see. Yeah. So I can delete that. I can just take this out before I did a save as. I actually started drawing it in that file. And let's go ahead and I'm going to recreate that sheet file to get back to a place and position where we was before. Again, just Dftg to PDF PC3, properties, 22 by 34, ANSID, 22 by 34. Click OK. 34 by 22. I keep getting them mixed up. 34 by 22. Then click OK. And click OK again. And click OK again. And click OK again. And we already have this viewport in the previous portion of the video. I actually kind of showed you guys how to create that. So I just want to get back to a point where we were because we're going to bring the title block in via X reference. Okay, so now you're going to take this and put it on a 1/4 inch of a scale. And let's go ahead and minimize this to kind of just crop off our floor plan because that's all we really want to show is our floor plan. Because we have to have room on the sheet, we're going to import some general notes. But I just wanted to get this out to you guys to show you guys how we are going to set up sheets. As you know, there's 100 ways to do one thing in AutoCAD, okay? So now you have your title block drawing, okay? Here is the title block. So first things first, I'm going to just delete everything out of here so we don't have so many drawings in here. Because all we need in this drawing is a title block, okay? And let's scale it up a little bit. Type in SCALE because it's very small. Okay, and let's go ahead and delete this. Well, no, let's leave that so we can determine. Let's draw a vertical line and then draw a horizontal line. So our sheet size is 22 by 34. So offset this bottom line, 22 inches. Because what's happening is we're gonna X reference it and bring it into the sheet here. So Yeah, we'll X-reference it in and bring it into this sheet. As stated, this sheet file, when you go to Page Setup Manager, we already have it set up at 22 by 34 or 34 by 22 to say it correctly. Okay, so we need to make sure that our title block is fitting for that. Okay, so right now, if we bring it in, let's just do a DI. Okay, so it's huge, right? So if we bring it in, let's scale it down just a little bit because we scaled it up. I want to show you guys how to actually produce these values and then incorporate that drawing into the sheet. So what you're going to do is scale it down again. And then let's take this line, let's draw a line right here and offset it 22 inches. Okay, let's go ahead and take this line and scale it. Testing, testing. Okay, so what I want you to do is to bring your title block into a new drawing, or just do like I did, go paste it into an old drawing and delete and rename the drawing title block and save it, and then you can delete the old files out. But make sure you change the name and save it as title block. Do not overwrite your old drawings, okay? And bring your title block in. And what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to scale your title block to 34 by 22 scale, okay? So if I do a DI here, I brought mine in and I just scaled it. So right now you need to scale it at 1'9" by 2'9½". So let's say if we take this line and we draw it here and we offset that line, okay, 22 inches. So it's going to be a little bit smaller, right? Because we need this guy to actually fit on our sheet that we are showing here, okay? If we make it exactly 22 inches by 34 inches, it's going to be, it's not going to have a border showing. And you'll see what I'm saying when I actually show you guys how to bring it in. So now draw a horizontal line here and offset this line 34 inches. It's going to be a little bit smaller, right? So that's the size you want to bring your title block in as, and when you bring it in, you can just actually do a scale. Just select it. It's going to be a little bit smaller or bigger than what we're showing here. So select it, type in scale, and then you can, just like we scale the site plan and everything else, you can just kind of give it a scale. And based on those dimensions, you want to have it a little bit smaller than 22 by 34, 1'9" by 2'9" approximately. Okay, so if I drop a dimension on here, 1'9" by 2'9½". Okay, that's what I want you to scale your title block down to. Okay, so your title block is going to have its own separate drawing because we are going to X-reference it in, right? So let's go ahead and delete these, zoom all the way in, and then hit Control S to save it. Now hit the Control Tab button to toggle over to your sheet that we set up. Okay, and now what you want to do is you want to come to the X-reference menu. If it's not open, just type in XREF. Okay, and it's going to open up. Then you come into the body of this menu and right click, and you're going to click Attach Drawing. Then you come over here and you select Title Block. Okay, and you click Open. Leave all of the settings the same, scale. We'll just check that like that. Okay, specify everything on screen, then click OK. And then you want to come here and click this corner. Wait, I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Type in XREF. Then you're going to go right here to Attach Drawing. And then you're going to go and select Title Block and click OK. And you don't want to specify the scale on screen here. You want to leave that one unchecked. Insertion point you do want to specify on screen, so you want to have that one checked. We're bringing in an attachment, not an overlay, so have attachment checked. All of these should come default with the exception of specifying the drawing on screen. Okay, so once you have all of these set up by default, you're going to click OK. And just select the bottom left corner of our viewport, then click OK. And our drawing is going to come in to the drawing space. So what you're gonna do is you got to zoom all the way out and just kind of highlight around it. Okay, when you highlight around it, and the reason why I selected that bottom left corner is because it's going to come in somewhere like about right here. Okay, and yours should do the same. If not, you may have to highlight all around it until you see that you have selected something. So highlight here, and you see something has been selected. You can zoom in, zoom all the way in, and there's where your title block is. So now you can type in M for move since you have it selected. And let's go ahead and select this bottom left corner, and make sure you turn the ortho off, function F8. And let's bring this over to, let's see, over to our actual drawing here. So if we zoom all the way out, which we'll have to do, okay? Or better yet, let's go back out. Let's zoom. Here it is. So our title block is here. You can see it. So what you're going to do is you're going to select M for move and bring it all the way over here. And typically this comes in right on your title block. I don't know why mine is doing this, but sometimes, AutoCAD does glitch, and you'll have to kind of tell it exactly what you want it to do. And you guys will see what I'm doing here as I get closer and closer. You can place it there. Now you see your title block is there. And if you start having funny things happen with your graphics, just type in REGEN, regen, to kind of regenerate the screen. And then you'll take this guy and you'll move it, okay? And place it on your sheet. And you want it to be something like that, okay? So that's how your title block is placed on a sheet. And you want to try to, center it a little bit. And what I like to do is, once you create one sheet and you get it centered like you'd like to have it centered, and I'll show you exactly how you do that. And I think that's a pretty good placement there. Actually, need to move it down just a little bit. And I'll turn the function back on to keep things in alignment, the ortho. Let's bring it down just a little bit. I think right there is still off just a little bit. Let's go ahead and move up a little bit. And I think that's pretty close. I still think I need to move it down just a millisecond, just a milli-inch. That makes sense. Right there. So that's perfect. So now what you want to do is you want to come to the bottom of your title block, and you want to activate the line command by typing L. And let's draw a line here and then a line here. Okay? Reason being, when you get ready to create your additional sheets, what you're going to do is you're going to come to this layout, and I forgot to name it on this one, but this is our first floor plan, so you want to rename it. And just type in PLN for plan. Okay. All right, so you have your first floor plan right here. And what you want to do is, the reason why we drew those lines at the bottom corner is because when you duplicate the sheets, what you do is when you get ready to create your second sheet, you come here, and what you do is you select move or copy, and then you want to say move to the end, and then you want to select create a copy, then click OK. So now your sheet has already been set up. This is your first floor plan. This is your second floor plan. So you want to come here and click rename and type in second floor plan. Okay? So there you go. There you have it. And what you'll do here now is that you have your sheet set up. You'll come here, right click, unlock the viewport, because remember we locked it. Mine is not locked because I had to redo it. But your viewport should be locked. Let's go back to your first floor plan. Make sure you lock the viewport. Okay? Go to your second floor plan. And now you want to unlock it. And then now you want to come in here, double click. And if you just press pan on the mouse scroll bar, the scroll wheel, just pan, you can pan to bring your second floor plan into the viewport, okay? And the reason why I say pan, because let's undo that. Let's undo it. Double click in here. If you hit the scroll bar, now you've lost your scale. Okay, now you have to go back and rescale it. So you can bring your viewport, your second floor plan here, double click out of it, and now select the viewport and give it a 1/4 inch scale. Okay. So now you select the viewport, a 1/4 inch should be selected. But if you just want to move it, double click in it. Don't scroll with the wheel. Just press the wheel down and pan, and you can bring that drawing into that viewport and not lose that scale. Okay. So double click out of it. And again, you want to crop your viewport because you only want your second floor plan showing. And again, we're going to have a set of general notes to place here. I'll probably roll that out to you guys next class period, but I just wanted to have this exercise to show you how you bring your title block into your sheet and how you set up your sheet, okay? So this will actually not be in the modules. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube so you guys will get the notification when the video actually uploads, and I will actually send it out in an announcement as well, so you guys can actually have the drawing and the video to show you how to set your sheets up. So again, this is how you set them up. This is how it is done in the professional ranks. The only thing we're doing in the sheet is we're bringing in the title block. Everything else is done within the drawing file itself. You can modify that drawing file. And let's see, let me lock my viewport. And good, let me show you this. If you forget to lock a viewport and you click in here and then you scroll and you lose it, you can always hit Control Z, undo until it's back locked or back to where you like it. Come back, right click, lock the viewport, and now you can click in here and you can make whatever changes you want to make, okay? So yeah, that's exactly how we want to do it. Again, we're going to set up the sheets this way. We will actually set up all of our drawings this way. Once you have one sheet created, then the next thing you can do is just go to Move or Copy. Again, you want to select Move to End because you're creating a new sheet. Select Create Copy and click OK. And then the next sheet is ready to go. You're going to, rename it to whatever it's going to be. In this case, it's probably going to be something like elevations or something like that. Okay, let's say South Elevation. And you can just abbreviate it because that elevation term is long. And then you would come here, click on South Elevation. Now you would come here and, unlock the viewport. Widen it out a little bit because your elevations are going to be a little bit bigger. Come here, find your elevations. Okay, we drew them. There it is. And it's already in the module what scale the elevation should be set at. So refer to that. I know typically it's a 1/4 inch as well. Okay, so you set your elevations up like this. And I know we should have text on ours, right? And you can move this up because what's happening is with the elevations, you'll have 2 on each sheet. Okay. Then you double click and just bring your other elevations in. I didn't draw it all, but you guys have them all drawn, right? So if you get kind of mixed up, you can always hit undo and go back to that original state. All right. So that's how we're going to set our sheets up. Okay. So I want you guys to go ahead and get all your sheets set up. I will send out a sheet or a drawing. I will send out a drawing detail list as to how we're going to set our drawings up, how we're going to name our sheets, and what the sheet numbers and names are going to be. But for right now, I just want you guys to know how we're going to set these drawings up. Okay, this is why I like to draw everything in one file. That way you can set all your sheets up in that same file, and then everything is there. Okay, so good stuff, guys. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Shoot me a text or shoot me an email, and I will respond in a proper manner.